Hey everyone, this is Rabbitearsblog, and welcome to another one of my TV episode review series. Today's TV episode review is going to be on the sixth episode of Gotham, Spirit of the Goat. So what happens in this episode is that Harvey Bullock remembered that 10 years ago he had dealt with this criminal called the Spirit of the Goat that was killing all the women in Gotham. And he was very upset about this because years ago he wasn't able to catch the Spirit of the Goat. And now 10 years later it turns out that the Spirit of the Goat has come back and killed another woman, and Jim Gordon is willing to help Harvey Bullock solve this case. So that way Harvey Bullock would be able to get over this big case that he had failed years ago. Meanwhile, we start to see the Penguin actually plotting a way to get and become the big man of Gotham. As he goes, we see him with his mother, and he starts plotting a way to take over Gotham from Fish Moody and Falcone. And then we also get to see some more moments with Edward in this episode. Even though in the previous episodes we see Edward just giving out riddles to both Harvey and Jim. It turns out in this episode we see more side to his characters. He's talking with other people. Start to see more of his character being fleshed out in this episode. But that's pretty much the gist of this episode so far. Is that there's a new killer called the Spirit of the Ghost that's killing all the women in Gotham. We start to see the Penguin start to plot to take over Gotham City himself, and we see more moments with Edward in this episode. So my thoughts on this episode. Well, here's some positive things about this episode. I like the fact that this episode actually focused on Harvey Bullock's character. Like in the previous episodes, what we got from Harvey Bullock was that he was just a rough and gruff bad cop to Jim Gordon's good cop, and we didn't see much about his character other than he's like the always threatening people, or he's always making deals with the mobsters to get what he wants in Gotham. But in this episode, we start to see a more softer side to his character, especially regarding his former partner. And it was interesting seeing how Harvey Bullock feels bad about letting the Spirit of the Goat go and letting him terrorize all those women. And now you can see in this episode that he's trying to really hard to catch this criminal and make things right, like from 10 years ago. So I really like that character development with Harvey Bullock in this episode, and it really made me sympathize more with his character in this episode. I also like the fact that in this episode we get to see more of the Penguin plotting his revenge against Gotham and plotting to take over it. And you see those moments with his mother, and you figure out how dysfunctional his family really is, or how dysfunctional his relationship with his mother really is. So it was really interesting to see the Penguin with his mother in this episode. And then I also like the fact that we get to see more moments with Edward, who might become the Riddler in the later episodes. It was interesting to see more moments with him as he's trying to start a conversation with a woman in his who also works where he is, and you could tell that he's not very good at talking with people, and so it was great to see that that kind of character development, that kind of character aspect of Edward, and it'd be interesting to see how they're going to play that up in the later episodes of Gotham. So here's some negative things about this episode. Well, I will admit, I didn't like how the episode started off as a Monster of the Week scenario. I think a Monster of the Week scenario can only take you so far with these type of shows. Like so far, all we've been getting in the past few episodes was that we have these random villains pop up in Gotham, and even though there's a storyline between with Bruce Wayne trying to figure out what's really going on in Gotham, trying to fix it, and you see the plans of the crime lords trying to figure out a way to take over Gotham while stabbing each other in the back. It felt like they were pretty much the background stories to the Monster of the Week scenarios, and I wish they could bring those type of story arcs to the front of the episode. Like I like to see more moments with the crime lords plotting against each other and taking over Gotham. And I think it was really interesting seeing all that, especially with Fish Mooney trying to figure out a way how to take over Gotham from Falcone. So I like to see that play more to the front ground because I think that's a generally more interesting story arc than the whole villains of the week scenario. Um, I also like to see more moments with Bruce Wayne, and I'm glad in this episode we are seeing more moments with Bruce Wayne. We're starting to see Bruce is starting to excuse me, he's starting to realize how bad Gotham has gotten, and he wants to do something to fix it. So I like to see more moments like that in Gotham, and see how Bruce Wayne's gonna eventually start taking the law into his own hands and try to defend the people of Gotham from all these criminals. So hopefully the later episodes will start getting into all of that. And I hope now with the big twist at the end, which is really shocking to me, hopefully Gotham will start going in a much different direction after this episode. So, what I give this episode? I give this episode a thumbs up. I think it was very well handled. I would have given a question mark the first time because of how it started off like your usual Monster of the Week scenario, but it's obvious by this episode's end that it's going to be a big game changer in this season, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen after this episode, what's going to become of Jim Gordon and what's going to become of the Penguin. You know, it looks like this episode set up a stage for a bigger story arc that's going to run for the remainder of the season, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen with the crime lords, what kind of war Gotham's going to get into, and how all this is going to be resolved by the end of this season. Well, that's my review on Gotham Spirit of the Go. And also for this week, my top episode pick of the week is Arrow the Magician. Now, even though the Flash introduced Captain Cold and going rogue, Arrow really interested me because it introduced the League of Assassins again. At the end of the episode, we have this new villain that is going to be a big problem for Arrow. But anybody who's read the comics know who this villain is, and I was like really excited about this villain, and I can't wait to see how Arrow's going to play off with this villain being the big bad of this the third season. So definitely Arrow the Magician is my episode pick of the week. It was just a fantastic episode. It set up a lot for the Arrow universe. My only beef with that episode is that it didn't introduce a lot of Thea, but other than that, I think this was the episode that really set up the stage for the Arrow universe. Well, that's my review, and be sure to follow me on Twitter so I can keep you updated any new videos I post up. And also, please tune in every Saturdays for new TV episode reviews from this channel. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Rabbitearsblog, and I'll see you later.